Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Minutes of Inspiration with Calandra. Happy Sunday. I hope that everyone is having an amazing Sunday and that everything is just going smooth for you today. I went to a self-esteem conference over the weekend, and it was a great experience. One of my good friends sent me an invitation a week ago and invited me over, and I was so grateful to accept that invitation. We had a great time. It was called Secret of Self-Esteem Conference, and it was in Fort Worth, Texas. So we had a good time. I was so grateful to be amongst a lot of beautiful women telling their testimony, encouraging us with things that they have walked through, and us now being able to see them on the other side, just living for the Lord. So it was a great conference. I was so excited to be there. So shout out to my friend Nikki. Thank you so much for the invitation. It was a pleasure meeting your mom and just being in a positive atmosphere. So I thank you. So because of the conference on yesterday, I wanted to talk about self-esteem today. So the word for today is self-esteem. So what is self-esteem? Self-esteem is how we think about ourselves and the value that we place on ourselves. How we think about ourselves and the values that we place on ourselves. So, the key word that stuck out to me was self. Self. Self-esteem is our opinion of ourselves. So, for so long, I was like, not so, I didn't understand how self-esteem really played a part with it all really being on ourselves. I was so focused on, words that was spoken over me or things that I have experienced in my life, and that made me look at myself in a certain way. But I'm coming to understand that it's not about words that are spoken over us. It's not about who said anything about us. It's the way that we see ourselves. So it doesn't matter how we started out, what our start was in life, whether we had the upbringing that we also want, whether we had that two family home and whether we had that support and love, all of that matters to an extent. But when it comes to self, it's up to us to be able to pour into ourselves and to love ourselves and to be kind to ourselves and to just believe in ourselves and to have that value in ourselves. And so what stuck out to me, again, the key word was self. A lot of times it's great to be able to have someone pour into you as a child because I believe that the foundation is so important because it helps you with your self-esteem. It helps you to be that more person that's aware of who they are. But unfortunately, life is life, and everyone was not poured into in that way. But what I learned was that it's easy for us to learn over time how to pour into ourselves. So even if we didn't have that great upbringing and no one really spoke words of empowerment over us, it's still good for us to be able to affirm ourselves and to speak those words of endearment to ourselves because at the end of the day, it's all about what we believe in ourselves. It's all about what we believe, it's what we think is important, more important than what anybody else thinks, more important than any words that were spoke over you to tear you down, more important than bullying. I know all of these things are hard things that a lot of us have had to walk through, but the way that we value ourselves is more important than what anyone else has to say or what anybody else tries to do to tear us down. So it's important for us to believe in ourselves and to speak life over ourselves, to uplift ourselves, to encourage ourselves on the journey, even if we didn't get that in the beginning. It's important for us to affirm ourselves and to love on ourselves because people treat us the way that we treat ourselves and what we believe we're worthy of. And I'm not speaking about this great confidence, this cockiness, or anything like that, because if you know me, that is nowhere near who I am. But just learning and understanding that we have to affirm ourselves and pour into ourselves and love ourselves and believe in ourselves, even if we didn't get that as little children. Even if this is something new for us, we have to pour into ourselves and affirm ourselves because it is our job, because it's self-esteem. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. So that's what freed me to know that no matter what anybody has ever said about me, what matters to me the most is what God thinks about me, what God knows about me, and what I know about myself. And learning ourselves take time. We learn ourselves when we spend time with ourselves. So as we spend time with ourselves and we are not always around other people, we get to learn things about ourselves, how we operate best, what works best for us. And a lot of us will, I know I've had a lot of that time over the last couple of years to really go deeper into who I am. I've always known bits and pieces, but it all comes together and we learn like what works for us and how things can help us to grow and be more self-conscious or not self-conscious, be more um, loving to ourselves. So, yeah, that's what freed me to learn that it's not about what anybody else thinks, it's about what we think. And even if we didn't have that great start, we can still start today by pouring into ourselves and loving ourselves more. So, I have a couple of ways here to help us to boost self-esteem. I have five. The first one is being kind to ourselves, learning how to be kind to ourselves, not putting ourselves down, not beating ourselves up. I know myself personally, I've done that a lot over the course of my life, but just learning how to be kinder to myself. And I'm encouraging you guys to be kinder to yourself because that is part of self esteem. We should treat others the way that we want to be treated. So a lot of us can treat other people well and treat other people good, but we're not showing ourselves that same love. So we have to show ourselves the same love and kindness that we show other people. So we have to be kind to ourselves. So number one is being kind to ourselves. Number two is challenging negative thoughts. And you guys know I talked to you guys about this on the last podcast that I suffer with at times anxiety. And when you are anxious or you have any type of anxiety issues, you have negative thoughts. So we have to learn how to challenge those thoughts. And if they are not good thoughts, if they are not thoughts that are loving and pure, we should throw those thoughts out and be focused on the kindness and the good thoughts because that's what helps us bloom by thinking on the good things, thinking on kind things, meditating on love, and meditating on the good things about ourselves because no matter who you are, we all have good things about ourselves. No one, I don't believe, is completely all bad. No one is perfect, but I believe that we all have something good about ourselves. So we should challenge the negative thoughts and pay more attention to the good thoughts and things that are not good. Just block those things out and redirect our thoughts on things that are good. The third one is avoid comparing ourselves to others. I'm gonna repeat that one. Avoid comparing ourselves to others. We can't compare ourselves to anybody else because we're all different and we're all made for different reasons. We all have different purposes. So I believe that we all have things that we are good at. All of us. and that nothing is too small, and we can't compare ourselves to anybody else because everybody have not walked in our shoes, you know? So we're all different and we all do things dependent on things that we have been through in our lives and what we have walked through. So we can't compare our lives to anybody else's because we all serve a purpose. I believe that we all serve a purpose and we just can't compare. We all have things that we are good at and things that one person may be good at, another person may not be good at, but that doesn't mean that that other person doesn't have something good. So we all have things that we're good at and we just can't compare ourselves to anybody else because we are our own self and we are all created for a specific purpose. So we can't compare ourselves to other people. So we have to work on not comparing because we're all valuable. At the end of the day, we're all valuable. Number 4 is celebrate victories. Celebrate victories. No victory is too small. Celebrate victories because no victory is too small. So anything that you put into mind to do and you were able to accomplish that thing needs to be celebrated. Even if you're not at your huge goal yet, the big goal, but you are at a small goal. You made it somewhere within that goal. That still should be celebrated. We don't have to wait until the big goal, the big accomplishment is made because when we get there, we'll still be looking for the next accomplishment. We're never at a point to where we're not growing and we've arrived. I always say that. So we have to celebrate the small victories along the way because those victories really add up to the big victory. So we have to celebrate the small victories because they are important. Just coming together in your mind, putting a goal together, putting a goal on paper or whatever, and making the necessary steps to reach any of that goal is a victory. So, just the mindset of wanting to do better and be better is a goal. So, we have to learn to celebrate our victories. And again, no victory is too small. And the last one that I have, number 5, is surrounding yourself with supportive people. I'm going to repeat that again. Surrounding yourself with supportive people. I have talked about that a lot in the podcast. And it's just important to find your people, find your community. And it may take a while because, again, I remember during 2021 was when I was in prayer with the Lord and on search for a new community because I knew that I needed to grow and I needed like-minded community. And that does not mean you have to cut everybody else off from the past. It just means that you are ready to grow and you need people that are like-minded to be able to grow with. And it's important to surround ourselves with people who pour into us as we pour into them. It's a give and take thing, and we have to find people that are supportive and that are like-minded and that you just feel comfortable when you are around them, that you don't have to pretend, you don't have to put on a show, you don't have to do anything but come in and show up as who you are. So when you are in a space amongst people where you are able to just show up as you are and you don't have to do anything fancy, you are just able to come and be your authentic self and you feel peace and freedom, then you know that you have found your people or your person. And you may not find your people in a whole as a whole, as a whole group by joining one group. You may not find your support system that way. You may have to go out numerous times and meet with different people to piece your people together. And your support system doesn't have to be one whole group. I believe that as I age, that we have different friends for different reasons, different seasons, and all of them are necessary. So the importance of having a good support support group and good people in your life where you can be your authentic self is everything. You truly, truly need that. And even someone like me, because you hear me say I'm an introvert a lot. You hear me say that a lot. And I know that there is a lot of truth to that. I do like having time to myself so that I can regroup, so that I can be refreshed, so that I can be the better version of myself when I am refreshed and regrouped. But at the same time, with that, I realize the importance of me being surrounded by people that pour love into me as I pour love into them. So, yeah, regardless to whether you like a lot of company or you like a small one or two, it's still important to have that supportive uh, group of people in your life that helps you boost your self-esteem because you want to be around people where you can just come freely and be who you are authentically. So yeah, so that is another way that you would need to help you to boost your self-esteem. So those are just 5 ways that I have put together for you guys to, find a way to boost your self-esteem. So those are some good ways to just be able to grow and feel better about yourself as who you are authentically and not, you know, who someone expects you to be or anything like that, or feeling down about yourself because of things that people have spoken over you as a child or as a teenager or whatever. Knowing who you are inwardly, knowing who God sees when God looks at you. So, if you are new to Minutes of Inspiration with Calandra, I want to welcome you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so grateful to have you here. This is a place where I come and I speak all things inspiration. This is a weekly podcast, so expect to hear or see if you are watching on the YouTube channel a new episode every Sunday. And if not Sunday, it's going to be Monday. So it's a weekly podcast where you can come and be encouraged, uplifted, and inspired every week. I do have groups on Facebook. I have a group that is called Sister You Are Loved. It is a group where you can come and join and be a part of it. It is all about love, support, uplifting one another, all things inspiration. I also have Minutes of Inspiration with Calandra Facebook group that was created, inspired from the podcast. Also, you can follow me on Instagram. It's Calandra_Monique. Or you can follow me on TikTok. It is Minutes of Inspiration with K. And I do have a book. It is a devotional. It is called Faith Walk to Healing. If you are interested, you can purchase it on Amazon. So it is a great devotional on all things inspiration, all things love, all things family, all things parenting, all things that we need in this world to help us grow, live, and thrive. So, yes, if you are interested in Faith Walk to Healing, again, you can purchase that on Amazon. And I do have two scriptures for you today. The first one is Psalms 139 and 14, and it's coming from the NIV, and it reads, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that very well. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. So we praise God because we are all fearfully and wonderfully made. God had a purpose for all of us, He had a plan for all of our lives. If we are alive, God has a purpose for us here. So we are fearfully and wonderfully made. So because of that, we don't have to walk around with low self-esteem or have negative or bad thoughts about ourselves, even if we grew up in a space that was not the best, God still made a way for us, and He's continuing to make a way. Most of the time, I can vouch ways out of no way. When I did not see a way, God has made a way. So we are fearfully and wonderfully made, and God has a plan for our life. So we must love ourselves because God first loved us. And then the second scripture that I have is Ephesians 5:29. It's also coming from the NIV. It says, after all, no one ever hated their own body, but they fed and cared for their body, just as Christ does for the church. So we are called to love ourselves, care for ourselves, feed ourselves, be good to ourselves, be kind to ourselves, and just take away or release the negative thoughts, release anything that is not good, and just pour into ourselves on a consistent basis. Stay around positive people that we have grown to know as our support system and pour into them as they pour into us. Celebrate our victories because our victories are important. Again, no victory is too small. Avoid comparing ourselves to others. There is no need for that because we all have a purpose and God has a plan for all of us, and none of us are alike. And we just have to learn to challenge the negative thoughts and focus on what is good. What is good about ourselves? Because again, we all have things about ourselves that is good. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in to Minutes of Inspiration with Calandra. And as always, know that you are loved, you are valuable, and your life is worth living. Until next time, be blessed.